the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Ndra Wahana, the current Minister of Justice, Mr. Dominic Ayine, as also double up as Attorney General, Edibetu Drase or your press conference. Na watch former appointees of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government omobo krono. Inti ukotie press conference ni nsema ekoso ba say ya chi omowie ni na busue ni na no na yeri ni na ya cho similar pattern in the Edubuahin case saso no debetu dra till to date proceedings of court docket evidence obe submitted for court ebe chere say ampa sa press conferences na oye no owo nyinaso bi e no de kase we abokro no enti obeye press conference be kase we wache kronfo wache we ni edikopie mo court after the one year prosecutor mu in Edubuahin case ekurapo no yesi yama ba ko plea bargain on the basis that unknown never provided evidence against Mr. Edubuahin. Enti question I Ghana for obusa say enti uni evidence aden na obeye press conference catch Ghana for say wache kronfo. Secondly, lawyer Bafo Ewa ekopie mu ewo joy discussions Prime Express and no mo di hu nkomo. And Mr. Domelovo, the source of evidence provided to the Dominic Ayine, the current Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and a Justice Remside Deputy Attorney General. No provided evidence on former appointees Kronomabo Okudzeto Ablakwa, the current Minister of Foreign Affairs, the main propagandist on this matter. After Mr. Domelovo entered say evidence na providing printings of documents, photocopies ni na mo provide ye no. Enyina so papa na. After the Mr. Domelovo, former Auditor General Kwakasa, or say we provided garbage. And I present and say na opache say bola garbage and I will provide yana. Or say is who provided garbage? Okay. I didn't na muko provide garbage. But say time election period ne ekoso na a lot of information from different sources. Information omo na mo Ghana Police Service, omo Yoku, omo state crime fighting institutions on betima ka reporting. In jada no man ko report or say omo kwa nkrofo no bebusa omo say omo nyina so ne sen nti omo mpesa omo pe committee on betima ka omo nsem na akire omo nti email so obi e bebo na adwum say we ye krofo obi o no a type akoma Okudzeto Ablakwa no de aba be na television so no aka no a type or de akoma Domelovo no ma de aba be tudwa normal printed photocopies bibri akoma His Excellency President His Excellency John Dramani Mahama say oral ejumadi no inti or party say in summary no oral ni a baller collection committee because garbage enom gadae enom de akoma Dominic Ayine inti pressure na eba from NDC for say ene mo na moma ye GD say nkofo bibri na amabokron no mabokron ade inti na mutimi prosecute omo court and I Domelovo abone numchi. Iwi ani akote lawyer Bafo Ewa ne analysis, legal analysis of evidence Okudzeto claim say wagada against former appointee in the wake of the many press conferences the current Attorney General and as a Minister of Justice regarding oral omejumadi.
So I completely agree with the Deputy Attorney General that yes, as far as we just collected data and summed it up, we didn't do any investigation. A preliminary investigation even may show that some of the complaints were just noise. There's nothing in it. But we collected the data as it is, so including the garbage. So if he has taken time to look at it and maybe based upon some preliminary investigation and think it's on the high side, I do not disagree with him.
Did you just use the word including garbage?
Yes, because at times people, in fact, nobody came to us that we turn away and say, yes, we will not take your information. So we collected all the information. Remember, we are not investigating. So when you come, we are not going to say that Mr. Mensah substantiate what you are saying. So you just come and say that I know Mr. Maliba is involved in this, that. The amount is this. We see the document you have and we capture it. Some even came in the form of emails. Some even came in the form of emails. What about if the person is just making it up? Being an experienced auditor, I know that you can even submit documents. And later on, when we test the documents may not have any substance or they may not be authentic.
Quickly, one, you've been streaming on your TV the oral committee visiting properties with cameras following them.
Yes.
That doesn't look like a committee that was just receiving information. Clearly, there it is. So if you say the oral committee was merely receiving information without investigation or evaluating it, that cannot be correct. Indeed, it would very respectfully make absurd the persons that were put together. I don't think that is what the president expected from them. Then they may have misunderstood the president. And so the oral committee in that regard has failed the president, has failed the attorney general, and has validated the position that they were not useful after all. The evidence is clear. Look at the oral committee, moving from properties to properties. What were they doing? It doesn't look like a committee that was merely receiving information, a committee that was inspecting.
But they were not investigating either.
But what is investigation? Investigation is simply verifying information. That is simply investigation. When you receive information, you verify it to determine whether or not it is of utility value.
But if they receive petitions of 230, they couldn't have verified all of that.
That is, of course, you have to. Why? You are going to pour everything on the president.
That wasn't their mandate. That wasn't money they were given.
Why were they visiting properties?
The code that was on the face of it, the code.
To do what? To do what? You are visiting properties. Your mandate was just to receive information, but now you are visiting properties. To do what? My brother, let me move on very respectfully to, I think my point is, but let me move on to the...
Ken.
I
just have 2 minutes, so...
The first point is that when you are involved in any matter, be it the prosecutor or the defense counsel, you build a docket as you go on. And your docket is as it is, anytime it is demanded. In fact, in civil practice, you have clients demanding photocopies of their dockets. And so in criminal practice, the current status of your docket is as it is. And when anybody demands a copy of it, I don't think you should hesitate. Now, the law of the OSP requires, the establishing act, requires that the OSP cooperates with state agencies. I am of the view that it shouldn't have been difficult for the OSP to move to the Attorney General's office, to sit down with the Attorney General and say, this is the status of my docket. There are some information I've received.
So you're describing the work as, that's where the issue is the docket issue. This amount of time is being compiled.
For 2 months. You see?
But he's told you about the development that he didn't anticipate at the time they were writing a letter for.
He doesn't work at the OSP's office.
But I'm sure of my source of information.
The OSP issue a statement. They issued a statement in which they said that they talked about the SML raid.
The Attorney General obviously came out as a frustrated person, true or false?
Today?
No,
yesterday, the Deputy Attorney General.
No, it wasn't
I wouldn't say that.
I'm not sure frustrated.
The Deputy Attorney General.
He was simply stating what they needed. What they needed to trigger this extradition process.
If he was not frustrated, he wouldn't have spoken about it.
He was asked the question.
He was asked the question. Yes. And what was his answer?
In fact, even today, the Attorney General himself, in his actual written statement, didn't touch on it. Then he was asked that question. And then he repeated the point about...
There's a chronology. You first had elements of this government come out to complain about the frustration of the government in dealing with this. There was Kevin Taylor. subsequent.
But he's an element of the government.
Of course, who doesn't know?
How can you say Kevin Taylor is
I am very surprised. I'm very surprised at your position. Who doesn't know Kevin Taylor's role?
Well, I don't.
In respect of you don't.
No.
Then you are pretending to not know.
Oh, come on.
You are pretending to not know.
Oh, come
Obviously,
on.
you are pretending.
What? Obviously,
Everybody
that's
knows
an
Kevin
accusation.
Taylor's.
I think you withdraw the
I'm not.
accusation.
No,
You are pretending.
The man is a
Now, how am I
blogger.
pretending?
Kevin Taylor is a major plank of the NDC government.
Okay, but I don't want to make my show.
I am saying
we
that
don't have time.
he is. We cannot.
No, okay, but the substantive point is
The substantive point is that elements of this government, including Kevin Taylor, including spokespersons of this government, we know of them, have been complaining about how the OSP has been dealing with the AG in respect of the Kenuforiata matter. The AG subsequently comes out through the Deputy Attorney General and complains about how for 2 months it has been writing to the Office of the Special Prosecutor for the docket and not receiving it. Clearly, if there had been any update subsequent to or within the 2 months period as to why the docket was not coming, I think the AG would have updated us in that regard. The AG didn't do that. Clearly, there has been a vacuum in terms of cooperation. That is why the AG stated what is stated. In my humble view, from where I sit as a trial lawyer, it shouldn't be difficult for you to make available a docket.
No, but they've explained why the docket isn't ready yet. They've explained, which is what he repeated.
No, they have explained, but that explanation should or cannot go without public scrutiny.
Yeah, but what's the scrutiny there? They've conducted the raid.
I can't analyze it.
No,
you can't.
So that is the scrutiny.
But for what they conducted,
I can see you are speaking for the OSP. That is fine.
That is fine.
That is fine.
That is not fair. That is not fair. It's not fair because
you cannot deny my right to scrutinize what the OSP has put out.
Just a second. Just a second. No, if you disregard him for a second and address him because I'm
disregard him.
The OSP issued a statement.
Exactly.
It's a matter of public record.
And that statement
it can. But you can't say that he's speaking for them because he was articulating an OSP's public statement.
No. But why the interruption? Have you forgotten the interruption?
No, he didn't interrupt.
Have you forgotten the interruption?
No, okay, by the way,
allow me to analyze it.
No, but I'm asking the question. I was asking you,
okay,
when you say it can be scrutinized, the OSP says, I did a raid and I found a trove of additional facts and evidence that I didn't know existed. And so now I'm not sifting to put together a stronger docket that then will serve the Attorney General.
Let me ask you a question. If the Attorney General had not come out, would that statement have been put out?
But we don't need to know that, right? So do you need to know that that is the...
So we didn't have to know. We didn't have to know. The Attorney General had to know.
Remember, it was a leak.
Wait, the Attorney General didn't know. That is why the Deputy Attorney General came out.
No.
Obviously,
it was asked a question based on a leak.
Based on the leak.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that if the Attorney General had the information the OSP put out, it wouldn't have spoken in the manner which it did, necessitating the OSP to respond.
Okay, let me quickly wrap this up because I need to give final word because I really exceeded. Mr. Domelovo, very quickly, Daniel Domelovo's view on it. He was a member of the committee. His work was basically one that the Attorney General updated us on. He says what he said is he's happy. It's commendable. You don't disagree, do you?
Thank you very much. Let me comment by stating that the need for accountability once you hold public office, for me, is absolute. It's non-negotiable. And so we should demand from public office holders accountability. In fact, once that culture is established, everybody who occupies public office will be mindful of his actions and inactions. I think that the situation we have experienced over the years in this country where people go to public office and come out very wealthy is inappropriate. And if care is not taken, there will be one day, like it happened many years ago in 1981, and it's happening across the globe now, there might be some insurgency, which we would not find acceptable. And so it is good. However, accountability must be within the confines of the law. Ghana is the creation of law, the constitution of the country. The Attorney General's position is the creation of Article 88. In fact, it is the only ministerial or cabinet position which is specifically mentioned in the Constitution. And so the Attorney General's role, very respectfully, just like other provisions of the Constitution, must be respected. And it is in the same vein that I think the Attorney General would also have to respect other provisions of the Constitution. That is, for instance, the presumption of innocence until proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. The Attorney General will have to respect that. And we all have to appreciate that point, that, look, everyone who is accused of an offense until convicted, tried and convicted by a court of competent jurisdiction is innocent. Mr. Domelovo mentioned the case of China. In 2001, the trial of Victor Salome was less than 2 years. And so I don't know the facts of the case Mr. Domelovo is mentioning or, is seized with. But it is not only in China that public office holders have been tried in record time. In Ghana, the Republic versus Victor Salome, it was done within record time. And so it is possible even in our jurisdiction. We, however, need to be mindful of the facts of each case. And so I'm not aware of the facts in China, but we need to appreciate or acknowledge that in Ghana it has also happened before. Each case turns on its individual facts, and we need to acknowledge that.
Okay, specifically though, I want your view on, give me your verdict on what you heard today. Are you satisfied with the Attorney General's approach? Again,
the Attorney General's approach is problematic.
Why?
Firstly, he is not just the Attorney General. He's also the Minister of Justice. Indeed, there's prosecutorial responsibility, which means that you need to approach prosecution bearing in mind the presumption that the accused person, may be innocent. In fact, the Attorney General himself was the lawyer for Tagore, right? Tagore had been...
The Evie Benjamin case.
The Evie Benjamin case. He became the lawyer for Tagore when he went on appeal. Tagore had been crucified in the...
He was convicted, was he not?
Firstly, he was crucified. The public was made to believe that he was a drug baron. He had engaged in drug trafficking and so on and so forth. He was prosecuted at the High Court. He was convicted and sentenced. When he went to the Court of Appeal, he was acquitted and discharged. What that means is that we have to be careful what we say about people from professional perspective, because if care is not taken, we'll end up convicting innocent people in the public domain, which is why I was very worried today hearing some of the things the Attorney General said. I'll give you an example. To say, for instance, in putting out the facts in respect of the case of...
the buffer stock?
The buffer stock. I heard him say, even on the account of this, I can succeed on a charge of abusing public office for profit. And so he's putting pressure on himself. He's tried the case in the public domain.
He's seen the evidence. He's updating us. He's expressing his confidence. Lawyers do that all the time. Of course, if you're going to prosecute the case, you must believe in what you're taking to court.
Don't forget, there are always two sides to a case. What the investigator heard, the Attorney General may not have sat through the investigations. Third parties did the investigations. They gathered the evidence. The Attorney General wasn't there. He's been given the evidence by the third parties. The third parties have put certain judgment to the evidence. Based on that, you think that, yes, you have a case. You go to court, and then there will be the scrutiny of cross-examination. At that point, you realize that what you thought was the position or your judgment in terms of the rightfulness of your judgment may not have been so. And so at that point, you will not succeed. That is when he will come out and accuse the court. Don't forget, the Attorney General has the penchant of always accusing our courts, even when he was in opposition. And I now appreciate why he was doing that.
Why?
Because he was always looking at the case from his perspective.
But that's just what he must do.
Every good lawyer goes to court, not looking at a case from his perspective. You look at the case from your perspective, the perspective of the lawyer on the other side, and what the judge possibly may also think about it.
But this was an update to the country.
That is why you don't put out such an update. You're
saying that he should not have given us today's update?
No, give an update, but manage the public expectation, particularly because an evidence does not, stand the test or does not become, in terms of evaluation of evidence, the court will evaluate it after it has been tested, right? And at this point, it hasn't been tested.
Give me a second. Abraham Aleba, what's your view on this? Do you have Abraham on the line? Please unmute for me.
If you
just a second. I'll come back.
Because if you go to
I'll come back to you.
Let me finish. Let me conclude on this point.
I'll come back to you. Trust me, I'll come back to you. I want him to weigh in on this.
I'll
come back to you.
Give me just 1 minute.
I'll return to you.
You will come to it.
I'll return to you. I want him to weigh in on this, and then I'll come back to you, and then I get other views on.
1 minute.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Let me get him to weigh in briefly. I'll come back to you. Don't worry about it. I'll come back to you. Yes, weigh in on this for me.
Yeah, Evans, don't forget that in the last elections, part of what the NDC presented to the Ghanaian people was to fight corruption. And don't also forget that under the previous administration, there were allegations and scandals almost every other week. And so if you come to power, you need to account to the people. And you are also aware, and you were referencing Domelovo on this matter, you are also aware that there's so much dissatisfaction regarding the speed at which prosecutions are ongoing. So what the Attorney General sought to do or has been doing is just to update the